Hello and welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repair, and today we're checking out a headless guitar with stainless steel frets that I got for $150. This is the Eart GW1. Let's take a look. There we are. So here it is. So yeah, I got a very good deal on this guitar. I picked it up for $150 Canadian with a case. And it's in really nice shape as well. So if you're not familiar with Eart guitars, they were started in about 2021. And they were kind of Amazon guitars that you could buy directly off their website or on Amazon. And they were really inexpensive for what they were. They use really high quality materials, and they're just really well built. You can still buy them today. Actually, you can still get them off Amazon and their website. Prices have increased a little bit since 2021. I think that's with everything. The prices have increased since 2021, so they have increased a little bit, but they're still very affordable for what they are. And this is their first headless model. This is the Eart GW1. So it's got a lot of really cool high-end specs. So let's go through those. So yeah, first off, this is a very similar to like a Strandberg shape. So I think that's what they're going for with this. Kind of an affordable lower-end version of like a Strandberg. So it comes with two humbucker pickups. So these are Alnico 5. They're called the Classic 57s. That's Eart's own pickups. So obviously they're going after the Gibson, 57 Classic pickups. So they're more of like a PAF style pickup, but they have Alnico 5 magnets. And I believe the 57 Classics have Alnico 2. This is an ash body, a roasted ash body. They roast it to kind of decrease the weight and make the wood a little bit more stable. And it's got kind of a satin finish. You can see in the light there. You can still see some of the grain of the ash, which is nice on this black finish. It's got a three-way selector switch, one volume, one tone. So pretty standard. And it's also got this tremolo system. So it's a locking kind of tremolo system, like similar to like a Floyd Rose. So it locks up here at the nut. And then you actually just adjust your tuning by hitting these little knobs on the end here. And this bridge can be set either as like a set bridge that doesn't use like a tremolo, or you can open it up and use it like a tremolo bridge. This didn't come with a whammy bar, but I do believe I have one that will fit. And then we've got your wheel style truss rods. You can adjust your truss rod here at the end. I really do like that style. It's really convenient to adjust your truss rod. You can just use like an Allen key, and it's very simple to do. And then we've got stainless steel medium jumbo frets. That's usually what people rave about these Eart guitars, is the quality of the fretwork. They're just done really well. Super polished. You can feel that there's no grittiness at all. And the stainless steel frets are like polished to a high polish. They're very shiny, and the fret ends are like little ball bearings. They're very well done. So people really started taking notice of Eart because of the impeccable fretwork. How they put in the frets is interesting though. I think they finish the frets before they put it in. So sometimes you'll see on the edge that some of these frets are longer or shorter than others. Especially on my Stratocaster, you can see that. So I have an Eart Strat here, and if you pay very close attention to the edges, you can see some of them are slightly different sizes. So I think that's because they put the frets in after the fact, so it's very hard to get them all exactly equal. It doesn't affect playability at all, at least in my case. So it's just kind of a little idiosyncrasy of Eart guitars. This one has a maple fingerboard. It's nice and thick, as you can see. and they're using the acrylic dot inlays. This one has a bone nut, another nice high-end feature. A 0 fret there, and then this is your locking tuners for the Floyd style system. The neck is roasted maple with Paduke. So it's a 5-piece roasted maple neck, and these 2 pieces are Paduke. So roasted maple, yeah, makes it for a very stable, strong neck. And it's a bolt-on. So you've got your 4 bolts there, and the heel's carved away quite a bit here for comfort, which is another nice touch. And again, you can see the grain on that satin ash body. This one also came with strap locks installed, and it came with a strap locks, so I'm going to be using that later. And then here's a look at the end. So your input jack is actually right here, which is kind of a nice convenient place. I believe it's the same on Strandberg's. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, it's kind of a cool spot for an output jack. And there's a look at our tremolo system at the bottom. Those are where you adjust your strings so you can tune. It comes with a special tool that you use to stick into those holes to tune, or you can use like an Allen key. And this adjusts your spring tension, so how stiff your trim is. So the tremolos on these models do not have very good reviews. They don't stay in tune very well from what I hear, and they're just a little bit not great to use. So a lot of people just use them in the locked setting and don't use it as a tremolo. I do have an extra trem arm that I'm going to use, and we can try to see if we can make it work well. But that's something we're going to try. And again, yeah, this guitar came in really, really nice shape. No scratches or dings anywhere. It's a little bit dirty. I'm going to clean it up. But yeah, there's no fret wear whatsoever. And it plays really well too. It came with a really nice setup. The action's super low. And I did go through the fingerboard, and there's no buzzing or fretting out anywhere. And it's really nice to play. So yeah, I want to go ahead and take this thing apart, and we can have a closer look at all the parts and specs. It's quite light, weighing in at just over 6.5 pounds, so 6 pounds, 11.5 ounces, or 3.48 kilograms. So these are the Alnico 5 magnet pickups. They're called the Classic 57, so I assume they were going to go after the 57 Classics like by Gibson, but they're quite a bit hotter, especially in the bridge position. So the bridge is reading a 13.78, and the neck is reading a 9.15. So yeah, a little bit hotter than the Gibson 57 Classics. And the middle position is reading a 5.56. So I just took the neck off so we could have a look at the pickups. So I'm just going to be careful to keep everything attached here so I can put it back on pretty easily without having to remove the strings. Here's a look at our neck. Looks like the holes are nice and clean. You can have a better look at our spindle style truss rod, which makes it very easy to adjust. And yeah, nice clean looking neck. And then as far as the body goes, you can see here that the neck pocket, it's just you can see some of the bare ash there, some of the finish is worn off. There's no spacers or shims in the neck. Sometimes even from factory with like fenders you'll see shims or spacers, but this one doesn't have that, and the action seems very nice too, so it's well made that way. And as far as the neck pickup goes, or the neck pocket goes, it seems like it's a nice solid fit. It kind of snaps into place, and there's no room on either side for spaces or gaps. So yeah, nice fitting neck. Alright, so here's a look at our pickups. You can see our route is nice and clean right into the ash there. And yeah, no fluffies or tear out there. It's a nice clean route. And here's a look at our pickup. So I think I was mistaken calling this the 57 Classic set, or the Classic 57s. It says that what's on here. So they've got these foam pads here and they're glued to it. So I don't really want to take that off, especially I think it's just going to rip that tag if I do. But on the tag it says a ZB59 Plus Classic humbucker pickup, and then it says developed in 1955, and then it's got a date on here, which is July 25th, 2015. So yeah, it's a zebra bobbin kind of open pickup that looks very similar to like a Gibson or a PAF style pickup. And yeah, so that just fits in the cavity with 2 screws, and that tension from that foam pad lets it be able to be lowered or raised. Let's just have a look at our bridge pickup. Alright, so again, our route is nice and clean. It looks like our wire is covered, so I'm assuming this is going to be a 4-conductor wire. So apparently you probably could split these pickups if you wanted to, but we'll see more when we get into that back cavity. And this pickup says the same. It says ZB59 Plus Classic humbucker pickup, developed in 1955, July 25th, 2015. And here's a look at our trim system, or vibrato, I guess, if you want to get technical. So it looks like it's got roller saddles here, and then you can adjust the height using these little screws on the top, and you feed the strings. So these little the tuners have a little rotating wheel that you feed the string into, and then get a couple winds, and then it starts to tune. So it's kind of an interesting little system. This is the lock here. So when you open this lock, it turns it into a tremolo. So it opens up the trim for bending or tilting. And then if you don't want to use it like a tremolo system, if you want to just stop it, you can lock it into place. You just use an Allen key to unlock it, and this piece opens up, and then it allows the bridge to be raised or lowered. And this is the back. So again, yeah, you use this little piece here. This little piece came with the guitar to help tune, because when you're trying to do it without this piece, these little tuners are close together, so it's hard to get enough power to tighten them if you're just doing it with your fingers. So this little tool came with it to help with that, and that just fits into the back, and then you just loosen or tighten that to tune. The problem with this thing is it doesn't have a spot on the guitar where you can keep it. It'd be nice if there was like a little channel here that this could just hide in there, and then you pull it out when you need to, because it doesn't stay in the back very well, and it just falls out. So this thing is very, very easy to lose. So I think that's a little bit of a problem with the tuning on this model. Here's a look at our control cavity. There we are. And okay, yeah, so it looks like they're using full-size pots. They're Korean. It says made in Korea on them. I'm assuming they're 500K pots. And then there's our output jack there. And it looks like a import style 3-way switch. But the wiring all looks neat and well soldered. There's our tone capacitor right there. So yeah, and the route looks nice on the back too. And the cavity cover fits nicely. Another unique thing about this guitar is it's a little difficult to tune. So unless you have a plug-in tuner, you just plug in and that's no problem. But if you have a clip-on tuner, it doesn't have a headstock, so it's hard to clip one on here. I've got multiple clip-on headstock tuners, and I was able to find one that opens wide enough to clip on to here, but most of them didn't, so that's just something to be aware of. If you don't have a clip-on, or sorry, if you don't have like a plug-in tuner, it might be a little difficult to plug or to tune this thing. But here I do have one that opens up a little bit wider, so then you just use your tool and plug it into the screw at the back, And then you just tune each individual string like so. And that's how you do it. Alright, I'm going to try out this trem system and see if I can get it working. I did find a bar from an old part that I'm going to use for it. It looks like there's just a little Allen screw that tightens that up. So to unlock the trem, now that there's string tension on here, if I tilt the trem forward and then use an Allen key to unlock this, I can lift this little lever. There it is up there. And now it's in trem mode, so you can actually use it like a tremolo. Right online though is it has a really hard time staying in tune with this system. So I'm going to go ahead and tune it up and see if I can make this work. Alright, so the second I put it in like trem mode, it went way out of tune, and it took a long time to put it back into tune for some reason. But now I got it in tune. So I'm going to try the trem for the first time and just see how it stays in tune here. A little bit clicky. I wonder what that noise is from. Oops, I accidentally engaged the stop tail mode. It's a little noisy. And just using it a little bit and I'm completely out of tune. So I'm going to tune up again and just give it a couple more shots to see if I can get it stable here. I'm also going to adjust the spring in the back because I heard that if you loosen this spring in the back, it's a little bit better. So I'm just going to trial and error for a little bit here and see what I can come up with. Alright, so I loosened the screw with an Allen key and I tuned it up again, and let's just try it again here. Alright, just test here. So my E's pretty far out now. Alright, so I messed with it for quite a while. I loosened the spring. It just keeps going out of tune, and it's, you know, it's annoying to tune with that little piece too. So I'm likely not going to use it with the trem mode engaged. It just seems like too much trouble. It does not stay in tune great, so I'm just going to be using this in the fixed bridge position and leaving it like that. I think the new iterations of the GW2 basically just got rid of this tremolo bridge altogether. I think there was so many problems with it that people were having that they decided not to use it anymore. So I think that might have been a good move on their part. So I'm just going to use this guitar in the fixed bridge position. One nice thing I can say about this bridge system is even though it's annoying to tune and it doesn't really work in tremolo mode, once you have it locked in and tuned up, it stays in tune really, really well. I've been playing it for quite a while here with some big bends, and it's perfectly in tune. So once you have it all locked in, it's pretty stable. Just gonna have a quick look at the condition of this guitar. So yeah, this is how you string it. You put your ball ends on this side, and then you feed it to the other end, and then you tune it up, and then you lock it down. Similar to a Ford Rose. And then there's our bone nut there, and our 0 fret. And I'll look at our nice dark rosewood fingerboard. It's in really good shape. And there's no pitting or marks on these frets. They're actually very, very nice and polished and in really good shape. And then on the guitar itself, it's a satin finish. So there's a couple spots where it's been kind of worn glossy, but that happens on satin finish guitars. But there's no scratches or dings anywhere. And then, yeah, our trim system, which is best used in the locked position. And the back, again, yeah, no scratches or dings anywhere. It's worn glossy in a few spots in the finish. And no dings or marks on the neck either. So yeah, very nice shape on this guitar. It looks like it was barely used. Another thing I forgot to mention is this guitar has a 25.5 scale, similar to a Fender. It also has a compound radius fingerboard, so it goes from a 9.5 and then it flattens out to a 14. So that just makes chording nice and easy with the 9.5, but then when you're up here for soloing, it's easy because of the 14 radius. So that's a nice feature. The neck is also a compound profile. So it goes from a C shape to more of a U. Again, for more comfort in the chording position, and then a little flatter and easier for soloing. So the guitar came to me with a very nice setup. I pretty much didn't have to do anything to it, and it came just the way I like my guitar set up. So if you see using the notch straight edge, that there's very little room between the straight edge and the fingerboard. So that tells me that the truss rod is set nice and tight. And then here in the 3rd fret position, you can see when I use that 3rd fret that first string is resting just very gently against that 1st fret. So that tells me that the truss rod's set nice and tight, and we've got nice low action over here, and the neck's nice and straight. So the 0 fret really allows for some nice low action here. So that's great. Then here in the 12th fret area, we can see on the low E, it's sitting at like a 1 millimeter, maybe a 0.7 to 1 millimeter. And on the high E, it's looking like a 0.5 to a 0.75. So yeah, very, very nice low action, especially on a, on a more budget guitar. Getting your action that low is, pretty hard to do without a lot of modification. And this one came like that. That's another great thing about the Earts, is they have such good fretwork, is that you can get really nice low action on a lot of these guitars. I'm just going to run up and down the neck just to make sure there's no buzzing or fretting out anywhere. I'd like to speed up this part, but if you want to hear it in real time, slow down your player to 25%. So yeah, very nice low action and no fretting or buzzing out anywhere. And yeah, the neck feels really good. There's no fret sprout whatsoever. Super nice and smooth, and the frets are super nice and polished, so you can really bend easily, and it doesn't feel gritty at all. It feels super, super smooth. So yeah, neck feels great. Let's get some neck specs here. So width of the nut is a fairly skinny 1.66 or a 42.18 millimeters. And then at the 12th fret, that fattens up to a 2.03 or a 51.71 millimeters. Neck depth at the 1st fret is a 0.84 inches or 21.54 millimeters. And at the 12th fret, that actually tapers off to a 0.813 inches or a 20.66 millimeters. So that's because it's going from a C to a flatter U shape. So here's a look at our compound neck profile. So you can see it starts out quite like rounded, and then it flattens out a lot by the 12th fret. So that's our kind of more of a U or maybe even a D shape there. And yeah, you can definitely feel it. It feels like a nice kind of a solid C here, and then it really does flatten out by the 12th. Feels good though. And on a strap, it's really nicely well balanced. It doesn't want to neck dive at all. Obviously there's no headstock. But yeah, it is very nicely balanced, and it feels very comfortable to play standing up, and everything stays where it should. Alright, let's go ahead and plug it in and see how it sounds. Alright, I'm plugged into my Fender 65 Deluxe Reverb reissue, and I'm using a GTO Germanium overdrive pedal. It's a nice transparent overdrive. And we're going to go through the cleans and then a little bit of dirt. So yeah, the pickups sound really good clean, very nice and balanced, and it feels really nice to sit with. It's shaped in a way that sits just perfectly when you're sitting, and it feels very comfortable when you're standing too. So, and this neck makes it very comfortable to play. So it's a very comfortable guitar. Let's go ahead and try it with a little bit of dirt. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on Eart's first version of their headless guitar, the GW1? Well, if you can pick one of these up for what I paid for it, $150 Canadian, you're laughing. Because these are very nice guitars with some really high-end materials and specs. This is a roasted ash body, a 5-piece roasted maple neck and paduk. It's got Alnico 5 pickup, like PAF style humbuckers, really nice low stainless steel frets that are immaculate. It's got a nice big thick piece of rosewood. It's got a bone nut. It's got a 0 fret. It's super light and well balanced, so on a strap it doesn't have any dive. It sits right where it needs to, and it's really comfortable to sit with as well. It kind of sits right on your lap where it needs to go. The neck has got a compound radius, so it's very comfortable to play and bend. A compound profile, so it's nice to chord with, but then it flattens out and makes for easy soloing up here. So yeah, it really does have a lot going for it. You've got your truss adjustment here. The spindle wheel at the bottom makes it nice and easy to adjust. And it really does sound and play great. Some criticisms I had with this guitar though is the tremolo system is not usable. Like when I unlocked the trem system, I tried to make it work. I tried to tune it countless times and use the trem bar, but it just kept putting it way out of tune every single time. So I ended up settling on the locked position and leaving it like that. In my opinion, it works way better that way, and the trem system does not work very well. I think they corrected this issue with the newer versions of this guitar. They no longer use this trem, which I think was smart. But as long as you don't use the trem, it does stay in tune really well when everything's locked down. I played it that whole time and I didn't have to tune up once. It just maintained its stability. So if you are going to get one of these, make sure you use it in the locked position. Tuning this thing is a little bit annoying as well. You need to use this special tool that's very easy to lose. There's no part on here where you can store it, so it's separate, and it's just a small little part that's easy to lose. You can also use an Allen key if you needed to, but I just don't really like this system of tuning. Luckily, it does stay in tune really well once you get it in tune, but tuning it is quite annoying. But I mean, just in terms of comfort and playability and sound, this thing is really up there. If you're interested in this specific guitar, I'm going to have this one for sale on the Reverb page, so make sure you check that out if you're interested. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you for tuning in to Beckler Guitars and Repair, and I'll have more for you really soon. Thanks a lot.